G'day YouTube, Turbo Tristan here, and today we get to finally start up the Civic using the HALTECH for the first time on the channel. Finally got the HALTECH running, so today I'm going to drive the car, I'm going to show you what I've been up to, I'm going to talk a bit more about it, and we're going to hear that turbo sing. Alright guys, so we're in the Civic. I've got the ignition on, the HALTECH's plugged in, and you can see it's reading there, everything's all going well and working. It's in learning mode at the moment, and we're on E85. So I'm going to talk you through all of that sort of stuff. I'm going to give the car a start. That was going to happen. All right, so the car drives, it turns on, it runs, it's running E85, all of the sensors work. Everything works within the HALTECH and within the standard loom and the standard engine and all of those standard sensors, except for the addition of a air temp sensor, intake air temp, and also a wideband O2 sensor in the exhaust to measure the fuel mixture, air and fuel ratio. Up until this point, there has been no maps available for the D16Y4 non-VTEC single cam engine, which is the 1.6 litre found in all EKs and EGs in Australia. That's not a VTEC or a twin cam, so it's not the B16A, it's the D16. Now there's no maps available for this engine, but with a little help from Fernando at HALTECH, he was able to hook us up with a map that had the car able to run. It wouldn't idle. I had to use my foot to keep it idling, but we got the car running, and with my foot gently on the pedal with about 2% throttle, we could keep the car idling. Everything was fine. He also calibrated the throttle, the TPS, he calibrated the air intake sensor, and we got the wideband O2 up and running. So the way that Fernando was able to get everything sorted for me, he's in Sydney, I'm in Melbourne. If you're a HALTECH owner, you just type in the HALTECH website, www.haltech.com.au, click help, remote help, and then the guys will send you an invite. You hit accept and you've got a live access to your laptop, and then they can then look at everything your HALTECH's doing, everything your car's doing, and with their knowledge and expertise they can help you set up a base map, base timing, TPS, all your sensors, get everything done, tweak your injectors and all that sort of thing. So Fernando at HALTECH first helped me out with that. It took us around about 40 minutes on the phone one afternoon, and having never seen the car, having never met me, having never listened to it or anything, he was able to get the car running, which was awesome. From there, I spoke to my friend Evan from UNIGROUP Engineering up in Girraween in Sydney. Very good friend of mine. I've known him since around about, I don't know, 2000 or maybe even earlier than that. And he is a master tuner. He tunes absolutely everything and anything. So Evan was able to log into my computer remotely from Sydney. Again, I'm in Melbourne, 1,000 kilometers away. And he was able to then get the car to idle. He set up fuel mixtures, all the learning, all the enrichment, all that sort of stuff. We didn't have a timing light, so that was my bad. I wasn't prepared. We left it there, we called it a night. The car was idling and running fine on 98 fuel. I went out, bought myself a timing light, plugged it in, put it on, started the car. Everything was great until I decided to loosen the distributor and try and move the distributor to try and fix the timing myself. Now, silly me, having never done any of this before, actually tried to adjust the timing myself, put the timing light on, noticed it was out, adjusted the distributor and stuffed it. The car instantly stalled. I threw the timing right out, and then I called Evan in a panic. He was able to help me out. We managed to get the car to a place where it was just about to fire, and then the battery went dead. So the next day I called up HALTECH again. Fernando was busy helping someone else out, and I spoke to Tuning Fork. You might know him from the Mighty Car Mods series or his own series on YouTube as well. We synced the timing, we fixed everything up, we put formulas in for the injectors, we made it so it would run nicely and smoothly. Everything was working great. He then told me how I could play around with it myself and then set it up for E85. So I went and got some E85, chucked it in the tank, flicked the switch over to E85, and then we have the cars running beautifully on E85. It's a little bit hard to start at the moment because we haven't done any of the cold start stuff, and it hasn't been to a dyno yet. We've just been playing around, Evan and myself, trying to get the car street tuned, if you will. We've set up a soft limiter at around about 5,000 RPM, and we've also set up a boost cut at 8 PSI. But I'm going to get the car running. We're going to go for a drive now. So here we go. We'll have the HALTECH on. E85 life. Now, if you hear any rattles and vibrations in the car, that's due to the exhaust is now rubbing on the sway bar, and then that's connected to the chassis, and that's shaking everything a little bit. So once I get the car driving a little bit better, I'll take it down and get that sorted. But that's just a matter of moving the exhaust a couple of degrees over, straightening everything up again, and making sure we've got plenty of clearance. But it's doing my head in. Now, the clutch I put in the car is a button clutch. It's either on or off, and I'm still getting used to it. I've only driven about 5 kilometers late the other night. So if it looks like I can't drive, then you're right. Stall. Need to get a little bit more heat into it. We're at 71 degrees via the HALTECH. The intake temperature is 19. So it's doing all of these corrections on sort of a learning mode at the moment. The car drives exactly like standard, as we're not doing anything crazy and we're using all the standard sensors. E85 life, loving it. Really protects the engine from pinging and knocking. God, those vibrations are killing my life, guys. Although I haven't done any cornering yet, I just want to say that I can really notice the difference already in those white line sway bars. Just hooking into my street, it's a very sharp turn, and the car just sits really, really flat. It's beautiful. We're going to go for a cruise through the bypass and up through Springy and get some E85 back on Crinny Highway, really close to my house, but we're going to do the long way. So the engine feels really strong. I'm not noticing any smoke or anything coming out the breather under boost so far, which is good. I'm sure it will when we're right up it. So far so good. No knocks or rattles, except for the chassis ones due to the sway bar and the exhaust touching. So up to 70 degrees, the intake temperature is 23. The other night when I took the car for a drive, it was actually slightly wet, and as soon as it come on boost, just instantly lit the tyres up. So I can't wait for full boost and doing that in the dry. It's going to be such a fun little car. I cannot wait to get it fully tuned and take it back to Sandown and see if I can beat my top speed down the straight, which no doubt I will, and also improve my lap time with the sway bars and the extra power and the extra stopping force with the braided brake lines. This clutch is really hard to take off on, but it really handles the power. Get the engine learning and hold 10 psi all the way to 7. It's going to be really quick. Sounds so good. A lot more induction noise through that intake pipe as well. 83 degrees, still nice and cool. The other night I put around 20 litres of E85 in the tank. It had, you know, probably 3 or 4 litres of 98 in there, so we're just trying to clean that out now, mix it down to straight E85. So we're almost down to empty again, because E85 burns really quickly. So I'll go fill her up. Hopefully I tightened all the bolts up. We'll try get some boost into it and see what it makes, eh? Far out, it hit 12. That's a bit much. But whatever it is, that's what we're going to tune to, because I'm not buying a boost controller. But E85 on 14-15 psi, that's probably going to be up around 130-140 kilowatts, which hopefully the engine holds up. Alright guys, so we're back from our first rattly drive. We've got a full tank of E85. The temperature is at 86 for the coolant and 35 for the air intake. Everything was running nice and smoothly. Might be a little bit better if I turn the car off while I talk to you. So pulled up, got a full tank of fuel, everything was sweet, and checked under the bonnet for any oil leaks or anything like that. What I didn't expect to see was a coolant leak. We've got one here, and you can see there's where it's coming from. This hose right under here. So that's now shit itself. You can see there's the hole. Now that could have been something that I did when I was changing the gearbox, probably, or it could just be something that happens with time. It is 21 years old this year, so not the end of the world. We just need to replace that heater hose. So that's the one that goes from that valve to there. No big deal, should be pretty simple to fix, but we've ruined our alloy intake, spurted water everywhere. and we've got predator blood all over the ground. But that brings us to the end of this video. The car runs, the car starts, all thanks to Fernando at HALTECH, tuning fork, and a big special thanks to Evan from UNIGROUP Engineering. He helped me get the car running, driving, idling, sync the timing, sync the injectors, do the TPS, do the air intake sensor. Everything's all done. It's on learning mode. We're on E85. The injectors are good. I've added a fuel pressure gauge there so we can check the fuel pressure. New problem, heater hose. So I'll probably order that locally because getting one from eBay this time of year with the corona is going to be very difficult and take a long time. So I'm going to try and get one of those. Might cost a bit more, but we'll get it done. And that brings us to the end of another video. As you saw, the car runs and drives. We now have a coolant leak, so make sure you take your dirty fingers, click like, click subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. That's good. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It won't hold its idle with the pedal, or that was pretty happy for a split second. Oh, almost. Well, nearly. It sounded almost factory for 2 seconds. I'm not touching it, but it was really low idle. Nice. I'll head back. Oh, it's amazing. I can't believe how you and HALTECH and everyone can just jump in and tune a car without even looking at it or being near it or listening to it, just punching numbers in. It's such a... I'm still having a little bit of trouble taking off because the revs have dropped down to 850, 860, but we can fix that. I just have to ride it out. See if this Wi-Fi is going to work.